Hey guys, what's going on? Megan here. All right, I'm gonna try to make this video under 10 minutes. Let's go. So I'm ranking all of the foods that will lower estrogen while building muscle on the budget. So that's three things, right? So you're trying to lower estrogen, which most likely is gonna actually not most likely, guarantee you're gonna have to lose excess, body fat. Build muscle, right? So you're trying to do a recomp, you're trying to build muscle while you're losing fat, or you're trying to actually lose fat, but also maintain some muscle, and obviously on a budget, right? For a lot of the brokies out there, right? Trust me, been there, so I know what it's like. All right, so the criteria is very simple. Number one, it's gonna have to be, because we're looking at estrogen, we're looking at testosterone, we're looking at building muscle and all that stuff. Number one is gonna have to have low calorie, nutrient dense fiber, right? Mainly so high carb with some starches, of course, for energy, right? Moderate GI. Number two is gonna have to have low calorie, protein, high quality, nutrient dense protein. And obviously, number three is gonna have to be cheap, right? And of course, I'm trying to rush, right? There's obviously more criteria. I'm trying to rush. Okay, so let's go. So first, we're looking at shellfish, and we're looking at lean protein. In this case, it's not nutrient dense, right? So this one is gonna win. Shellfish is gonna win mainly because it checks. Obviously, there's no fiber, right, in both of these, so they both lose on that, but they definitely have more nutrients, right? There's way more nutrients in shellfish. And again, when I say shellfish, I mean the whole family: oysters, mussels, clams, shrimp, things like that, right? Definitely gonna win as far as the protein part goes. Now, as far as price, of course, some of these are cheap, right? So it wins. Next, we have fatty fish, very high in omega-3, so that would be like salmon, compared to just your generic supplements. Obviously, I'm gonna have to pick salmon, even though it's not low calorie. Most supplements are trash. So all right, next we have, and by the way, when I say salmon, I mean fatty fish. So it's not just salmon, it could be cod, it could be mackerel, sardines. All right, so now we have fatty protein. So that's a steak, nice juicy cut of steak, pork, so fatty cuts of meat, nutrient dense as well. Compared to this one is cholesterol. I'll just put an egg yolk, but it's mainly cholesterol, foods high in cholesterol. Unfortunately, even though cholesterol is goaded, remember, your body makes the cholesterol that you don't eat, right? So a lot of times it's overrated. People are like, oh, cholesterol, cholesterol. I'm like, yeah, cholesterol is important because it's the backbone of all steroid hormones, but your body will make whatever you don't eat, right? So in this case, obviously, fatty protein is going to win, right? Next, we have prebiotics, so for your gut health. And we have, can you guys guess what this is? Your best friend, right? Seed oils, right? Obviously, prebiotics is going to win. Uh, Guys, let's see if I could actually win and make this under 10 minutes. Let's go. Carbs, I say it all the time, but I lose. The video ends up being double what I say it's going to be. All right, I say 10, it's going to be 20, but this time I'm actually fucking serious. Let's go, guys. All right, so here we have carbs. So that's the entire carb family, right? The entire carb family compared to, obviously, trans fats, right? Obviously, it's going to be carbs. Next, we have steroids. Yes, I put in here because I'm putting nutrients plus, even though steroids are not nutrients, right? Oral steroids, right? You ingest them shits. So we have oral steroids or even injectable steroids. Anything that goes in your body, I'm going to put in this thing. Compared to, I think this was saturated fats. Uh, I think so. Yeah, yeah, saturated fats. Obviously, to be fair, right? If you want to be technical, right? If this is not a natty channel, of course it'll be this, right? But obviously it's a natty channel, so I'm gonna pick that. Right, next we have insect protein compared to lean fish like tilapia and shit like that. It's gonna shock a lot of you guys, but it's actually insect protein. Yeah, I know it sounds gross, whatever, but they're so nutrient dense, very high in minerals, high in protein, and they actually have fiber. All right, next we have junk food like chips and shit and plastics. Obviously, if you got to pick, obviously it would be junk food, right? So this was a terrible matchup. Um, all right, next we have, and by the way, guys, remember plastics are overblown. Yes, they're not optimal for testosterone, but the effect is so negligible. People blow it out of proportion because they're looking for the next thing to shove down your fucking throat, right? Stick to the basics. The basics will take care of the plastics in your body. All right, anyway, so next you have shellfish compared to fatty fish. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pick shellfish simply because one is cheaper, right? So that's one of the most important criteria for this tier list because we have to factor in price, and obviously, as far as nutrient density goes, boom, right? They're very close to nutrient density. All right, so next we have prebiotics and fatty protein. Well, let's look at the first criteria, right? As far as nutrient dense, low calorie fiber, prebiotic wins. right? And that's actually one of the most important factors for keeping estrogen low. And I made a video about how to lower estrogen and all that stuff. So join the school community. I have a whole, I have courses on there, videos on there, posts, blah blah blah. So prebiotics is gonna win. And obviously, as far as protein goes, there's more protein here, right? So price, this wins. Protein, this wins. Fiber, this wins. So prebiotics win. Next, we have saturated fat and carbs. It's going to shock a lot of you guys, but carbs are going to win for lowering estrogen while building muscle and stuff like that. Next, we have insects and junk food. Obviously, insect protein. Next, we have prebiotics and shellfish. Prebiotics is going to win any day. Cheaper plus the fiber element. Next, we have carbs and insect protein. Carbs are going to win. Carbs are so underrated for keeping estrogen low, guys. As long as it's good quality carbs. Next, we have carbs and prebiotics. Well, because carbs include prebiotics, carbs are going to win. Next, we have we have hard drugs like crack and shit, and water. Obviously, water is going to win. Next, we have fried foods and minerals, right? Your zinc, your magnesium, your boron, copper, iron, selenium, iodine, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, minerals are going to win. Next, we have plant proteins and soluble fiber. And by the way, this is, I think I had this for, yeah. So plant protein is going to win, right? Mainly beans, in the form of beans. This is a tough matchup because soluble fiber is so important, but plant proteins also have some soluble fiber. All right, next we have toxic chemicals and fruits. Of course, fruits are going to win. Next, we have fiber and monounsaturated fats, MUFAs. Fiber is going to win, not even close. Next, we have omega-6 fats compared to just vitamins in general. I got to pick, this one is tough. I got to pick vitamins in general, of course, right, because of the low calorie part. Next, we have antioxidants and probiotics. This one is very, very tough because both of those are extremely important for estrogen. So let's look at the first one, right? So fiber, obviously, depends on the probiotic source. Protein, this is going to have more protein. And price, probiotic wins, even though antioxidants are so goaded. Next, you have mushroom and beer, obviously, mushroom and fungi. All right, water, minerals. Obviously, you need both to survive, but for the sake of this video, right, minerals. Next, we have plant proteins such as beans, compared to. And by the way, when I say plant protein, they have to be complete, right? Compared to fruits. So let's see. So price, actually, most plant proteins are actually cheaper than fruits, believe it or not. So as far as fiber, most plant proteins are gonna win. So that's already a win right there. All right, next we have fiber and vitamins in general. It'll be fiber, right? Because you could get your vitamins in the fiber. Next, you have mushrooms and probiotics for estrogen. This is a tough matchup. This is very tough. So let's look at protein. Protein, probiotics win. Again, depends on the probiotic source, but on average, probiotics win. Actually, no, it's low calorie, nutrient dense protein. Low calorie, nutrient dense protein. Yes, probiotic, right? Because it's a big family. Second one is obviously low calorie, nutrient dense fiber. Now it's mushrooms. Plus, mushrooms have the additional, especially white button mushrooms, which are notoriously good at lowering estrogen activity. And then you got price. Yeah, I got to pick mushrooms. Mushrooms are so good for keeping estrogen in check. Plus, they're low calorie. Minerals and beans, obviously, plant proteins, right? Especially beans. So next, we have fiber and mushrooms. Fiber is so good for fat loss, estradiol. All right, fiber and plant proteins. Plant protein is going to win because you get the fiber and you get the protein and it's cheap. Next, you have carbs and plant proteins. Shit, this one is tough. But because carbs includes plant proteins, I'm going to pick carbs. Right? So there goes your winner, guys. Right? These two things should be at the very top of your list. And it goes against what everybody tells you, right? If you're trying to keep estradiol low, you're trying to lose fat while building muscle, you have to spam the carb family, especially plant proteins, which is beans, lentils, things like that. All right, guys. Did I do it? Did I complete this under 10 minutes? Yes, I completed this under 10 minutes. So that gives me a few seconds to explain, right? So remember, protein was the first thing, right? Low calorie protein. So that's what made it so that this one is up here. Second one was, like I said, low calorie, high nutrient, right? High nutrient density protein. The other one was the fiber, right? Low calorie, nutrient dense fiber. And the third one was price, right? And that's why this made it to the finals, right? Very important for keeping estrogen low. And sure enough, a lot of you guys with high estrogen levels, think about it. You don't eat a lot of these foods, right? Knock, knock, right? Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out why. But anyway, let me keep this video short. Join the school community. Obviously, they're going to get early access to all of my videos. So if you're in the school community, you're probably seeing this video right now. I'm out, guys.